Hey, this is Pinball Rush. I'm going to talk about Hyperball for a minute today. This is the issue I've been trying to fix. This is the playfield display, and only the diagonals and the center segments are showing up as it's turned on. And I previously did some work on this to try to get this resolved. And this is where the issue is happening right here. So I previously took all these chips out of here, and there are all chip sockets in there right now. You can kind of get a better view of that. So now I can take the chips out and swap the like chips back and forth to try to isolate the issue. So previously, when I initially bought this machine, I knew it had a display problem, and it was suspected that one of these chips was bad, or there was a wire connector, or possibly even the display that was bad. So previously, the reverse was actually showing up on the screen. So I had all of the top horizontals and the verticals showing up, but none of the center and diagonal segments, with the exception of over here in the last one there were two little, like a small little V, so the ones that aren't showing up there were in that. So I switched the chips around and isolated to what it is now. So the chips are actually these guys right here, which is a what is that, a UDN 7180A-5. I previously swapped these right here. I had these on order. I swapped those around. Previously, one of the segments in here, there was a whole O or a 0 that was extremely bright compared to the other ones. And as soon as I swapped that chip out, one of these, that issue resolved itself. I also replaced these two chips right here simply because I was at an electronics store and I found them for 82 cents a piece. So for that, I just figured I'd see if that was an issue. So these are the chips in question right here. The ones in black in the top, I ordered from Marco Pinball, and those are the ones I replaced that took care of this issue here, where I had this large, or the O that was too bright. The ones in red here are the ones I just ordered that just came in today. Those are the ones that are sitting here, which I think these are the ones that are driving either the verticals or the diagonals on there. And these ones in green here, those were the ones I got for like 89 cents at an electronics store in Kansas City. So if you're interested in those numbers, these are the items that I've looked at so far. So today I'm going to be swapping this guy out to see if it takes care of the problem I've got here going on. So what I'm going to do is put this in the holder so you can kind of get a flavor for what I'm doing. Now first I'm going to shut this off and unplug it because I don't need to get electrocuted. The next thing I'm going to do is show you the other items that I bought to put in there in case we want to do this. So the items that I had in addition to a soldering iron were, I bought these. This is a variety pack of chip sockets. So when I unsoldered the sockets, I put these in their place, and I got that for like 16 bucks on Amazon. To get the chips out, I had two products I had to buy. Chip Quick is the first one, and this is pretty slick actually. There's a little vial of, like a dropper of flux, and then there's an aluminum, I believe it's an aluminum alloy soldering metal that allows you to desolder these things and gives you time to get all the legs heated up and actually off so they don't keep reheating themselves to the board. I also bought this chip wick. You can see that. This I also bought from Amazon. And this is just a braided piece of copper that you heat up the solder, and you apply this, or you put this on top of the solder and then put your soldering iron on top of it. So my finger here would be my chip or my board. I put the solder on that, and then I heat up the solder, and this will soak it all up just like a candle wick. So that's all the work I did previously. So now what we're going to do is see if I can pop this out. And this is the chip that I'm putting in, so you can get a flavor for how small that is. And these little legs that are on here can be pretty delicate. The ones that I paid 82 cents for, I bought 3 of them. That's all they had there. And one of them I actually screwed up, so I'm glad I got 3 of them. So these legs can be pretty delicate, and I it was the first one that I ever put in, and I put it in, and I kind of had it in an angle, and I tried to pull it back out, and I twisted one of the legs. And when I tried to straighten the leg back out, it broke off. So 89 cents down the toilet. Now, if I don't know if you can see this, but the legs that are on here, they're kind of in an angle. They're not straight up and down. And I think they do that so when you put it into the circuit board to solder it in hard, it'll actually hold itself in place if you turn the circuit board upside down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this flat on the pinball glass and just try to just really slightly press them down in so they're more straight up and down, so I can get it into the socket a little bit easier. And then once I'm done with that, I'll pop the old one out. The other thing of importance to note is all these chips, there's a wrong way and a right way to put them in. So this has a notch right on this side here. I'm trying to do this behind the camera, which I'm not good at. So there's a little notch cut into that circuit. If you put this way, it's going to screw everything up. I don't know if it's going to fry the board or what, but this is not a good thing to have it upside down. So I want to make sure that the notch on this side is going to match up with the notch that I'm pulling out of the board. I wouldn't just use the letters that are on there to say, oh, well, I can read that, so it's in right. You always need to check to make sure that notch is in the right spot. So I've got two chips that could potentially be bad. One of them is bad. So I'm gonna pull one out, and if I get it right on the first try, that'd be great. And if I don't, then I'm gonna have to swap out the other one. Okay, that's way easier than unsoldering stuff. Okay, now I pop the new one in. And it's kind of hard to see. There we go. Okay. Now what I should have done is I should have put a little towel here. I made that mistake before too. But the opening here from where all the cables go or the cords go from the body into the head here, I had popped out a chip and it fell down in there. And I thought, well, duh, I could just put a little rag on that and fix that issue altogether. And I forgot that already. So now we'll try it again. Oops, got to plug it in first. And see if that was the correct chip. That's bad. That was it. Okay, so now you look over here, and brilliantly, everything is showing up, and I can read it. So imagine trying to play this, and it's hard to get the full enjoyment out of a game if you can't read what it's saying. So, yeah, there's high scores apparently in here. This might just be the factory stuff. But yeah, now I think we're ready to play some Hyperball as it was intended. So thanks everybody for their help in sorting this out. Folks from Pinside and also from Iowa Pinball on Facebook group. That was a great help. Again, if you're interested, these are the part numbers that I used and where you can get them from. This number here has actually been superseded by this newer number. Again, that didn't seem to be an issue in my case, but if you are looking for that, that is the new substitute number. So yeah, this was an issue. I could have went out and bought a new board for this, or a replacement board of about $200. And what I got instead was a bit of an education, and I did this for all the parts and materials, and the shipping is what killed me. It was just about $100. So replacing these chips, the time it took, it probably took me about, I'm going to say 3 hours to unsolder all of the chips and solder in all the new sockets. It's the first time I've ever done board work. I've only been into the pinball business since late November of 2017, so this is the first board issue I've tackled. But it did work out, and I think this is awesome. So we're going to play some Hyperball. See ya.